This is TechVibe Radio. It's your front row seat to Pittsburgh's technology and innovation ecosystem. TechVibe is brought to you by the generous support of Compunetics at compunetics.com, Chorus Call at choruscall.com, Highmark at highmark.com, Huntington Bank at huntington.com, the Kindling Culture Agency at thekindlingagency.com, PNC Bank at pnc.com, Savior at savior.com, and Studio Me at studiomeproductions.com. TechVibe proudly broadcasts from the Huntington Bank studios. Let's get the show on the road. Audrey, I'm so excited to hang out with you this morning. It's time for some TechVibe Radio. It's the front row seat we love giving our listeners every single week to all the great stuff happening in Pittsburgh.
Well, I love the fact that it's now 2026 and we're still doing this.
Yes. I mean, well, first off, do you know what? I think, this is kind of crazy. I think we're coming up on like 18 or 19 years of this. So, yeah, it's kind of cool. I mean, we keep having fun because there's so many stories to tell. And, yeah, I'm just loving it. And I'm just coming down from my buzz from CES, the Consumer Electronics Show. We had past two shows detailing our presence, our members' presence there. And I was really excited for today's broadcast because back as 2025 was wrapping up, we're heading into 2026, you put together your last presence message for our TEQ News magazine. And every time when you come up with some story angles, you always surprise me over the years. And we've been doing this together for a long time.
I know.
And I mean, you always love providing your insight as to what's working, not working, what we could be doing, not be doing in the region if we're going to develop a better tech ecosystem. And you just came back from your trip to Croatia, which I'll have you explain in a moment. And it really inspired you because you saw some really cool parallels between what's happening in Croatia as they're trying to develop their tech scene and kind of leaning on you to help them with it, and what's happening here. And so I was like, you wrote this piece, and I was like, no one has ever done this where they brought these parallels from this country that not many people really talk about, but it actually is so important into Pittsburgh's history as well, too. So I was like, oh my God, Audrey, you're like firing all like 8 cylinders or something like that.
But when you travel on a plane for that long,
okay, you got
you get a chance to think about things outside of your little bubble.
Yeah, well, you had a layover in Germany that went a little longer than you thought as well, too. So you did get time to think. Maybe more layovers is our way to get better pieces out of you. I really like it. I enjoyed it. But
it's true. I traveled light. It was easy.
Yeah. But real fast, I think our listeners just need to know that you've been going to Croatia. You've been there, 3 or 4 times over the past 6 times.
Maybe 6.
Many times.
Yeah, maybe 7.
Yeah. I mean, first off, it's like, how did you first get the invite to go there, and why do you go there?
It's a very funny story.
Yeah.
The
okay,
woman
tell us.
who started Sea Leveled.
Yes, Denise Simon. Yes, we love Denise.
She had been doing some different gigs around Europe.
Okay.
And she did a gig in Croatia. And they asked for a certain kind of expertise. She goes, I'm not the right person, but I know the right person.
Okay. And so what were they seeking for?
The U.S. It's through the embassy.
Okay.
So it's the U.S. embassy. And that's how, Denise introduced me. And I went up into a town called Rijeka, which is right on the border of Slovenia and Italy.
Okay.
It actually used to be part of Italy for a long time.
Interesting.
Before World War II.
Right.
So anyway, the university there, they did like these boot camps, and they'd have scientists come and try to figure out how to commercialize their ideas.
Yes. So they're trying to spur innovation and entrepreneurship and tech in the region.
Right.
Okay,
yeah. And science and deep science.
Deep science, right? Yeah.
Deep science research, but also what I would call light tech as well. Mm-hmm. And so anyway, when you travel and when you meet people and you have synergies, you start to form friendships, and you have ideations, and you have a chance to co-create and develop. And so, I've been there in Zagreb, and then most recently went on a trip, and that I thought was really, really interesting because it was 3 days, and this was a trip that was focused on one of the things that they did. They focused on making sure that people today across business, across civic engagement, across journalism actually have a safe place to have communication.
Wow.
So
that's crazy.
The point of these 2.5 or 3 days was to make sure that people could talk without, they call it Chatham House rules. so that anything that you say and you talk about really stays there.
Oh, it's the old what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas type mentality.
But
okay.
Except we just didn't do Vegas-y things.
Right. Oh,
we
man.
did more intellectual things and talked about, but there's partying going on, don't get me wrong.
Of course.
There's definitely partying going on.
But the idea that all this is happening because they're really trying to spur innovation and technology as something that can generate wealth and stuff.
But not only that, they're also wrestling with many of the issues that people talk about today.
Right.
Particularly young people are saying, ethically, what does it mean? What is journalism? Who does the reporting? What is AI going to do to our world? What has it already done?
So this convergence of tech and journalism and everything going on there.
The elected civic engagement
Exactly.
and elected officials.
And
Right?
I
So
know
the Prime Minister kicked it off.
Oh, that's always nice.
Yeah, the Prime Minister kicked it off and talked extemporaneously for quite a while. And the thing that was really cool was that this was the first time I went where it was spoken in Croat. So
tell me the technology that you brought with you to do that.
I used Time Kettle.
Okay.
And the newest version of Time Kettle, which was advised to me, believe it or not, by Duolingo. I actually talked to some people there, and I said, I don't want to put Bluetooth in. I really want something. Is there something? And this is a device called Time Kettle. It is made in China, and they had 43 different languages, and it's just a live feed. And so you just put the phone down.
Translates
and
as it goes.
It's dynamic. So it's translating it as they're talking. And my friends in Croatia would come up and say silly things just to make sure that it really was real. Like, how legit is it? And they'd go,
was it legit?
They'd go, yeah, it's
okay.
legit.
I love that.
So much of the
goodness.
sessions, except the day, there were like 2 or 3 sessions that were in English. Most of Croatia, everyone, listen, we take for granted.
I know.
We take all this for granted, but they're speaking English, right?
Yeah.
And so it was very lively, very candid.
Yeah, so you come home from this trip, and you've been, like I said, many times you've been on this, and I know every time, like, this is something that you really care deeply about because you keep going back. But this time I was like, Audrey, I think you should write about your trip and what went on.
I know.
And I was just thinking you were going to give me the usual stuff. But I was like, oh, my goodness, you pulled out just, I don't know, this was like a gem. And if people want to read this, it's on our website at pghtech.org under our TEQ drop-down. But, I mean, you really did a comparison of how similar our tech ecosystem in Pittsburgh is to that of Croatia, and that we face many of the similar problems. And then you drive in this whole thread of how, oh, my goodness, so much of Croatia actually built Pittsburgh 100 years ago and more.
The largest lineage of Croatians.
Yeah, it's so cool.
I mean, do you realize? When I say that in Croatia, they are like, they're mind blown. Because one of the things that really is funny is that when you live far from your homeland, or you establish, very often what happens is you hold on to older, I don't want to say ancient, but older kinds of traditions.
Yeah.
And they're traditions that no one is doing today in their current land.
So people do things
So when
here.
I tell them
about
the tamburitsins, or I tell them that my friends are playing these songs in Croatia and these Croatian soft rock bands, and I play that to them,
like,
they
what?
laugh so hard.
Like, that's cute.
They go, that's just adorable. That's so
it.
adorable.
Oh, my
that
goodness.
Anyone would be doing those things. We don't, because they want to see themselves as the future.
Of course.
They want to see themselves as the innovators. They want to make sure. So the dialogue is rich.
Very much so. This has me really excited because I think we set this up, and if you just joined us, this is a little different from our usual TechVibe Radio format where I'm talking with Audrey here, the CEO and president of the Pittsburgh Tech Council. She takes these trips to Croatia under this whole auspice of that they're teaching entrepreneurship and technology transfer over in Croatia, and she came back with some really cool insight as to how similar Croatia's tech ecosystem is to what's going on in Pittsburgh, and that's what we're going to jump into when we get back, because it's such a complex story to set up, but I just think it's great, and I'm really excited for our listeners to learn more about your takeaways, Ms. Audrey, because I think there's just some real dynamite here. So keep hanging out with us. This is Jonathan Kirsting.
And this is Audrey Russo.
Audrey, we are from the Pittsburgh Tech Council, and we're knocking on 2 decades of TechVibe Radio. It's kind of fun. I love it. It makes me laugh because it's just so much fun and such an honor for us to be able to have these conversations every Sunday. pghtech.org. We'll be right back after this quick break. Studio Me Productions is a full-service video production company based in Pittsburgh. It offers custom video production services, podcast studio rentals, and communication studio build-outs. Choosing Studio Me Productions means investing in a partnership that values creativity and delivers results that exceed expectations. With a deep understanding of marketing and storytelling, Studio Me ensures your project will captivate and engage your viewers. Learn more at studiomeproductions.com. That's studiomeproductions.com. A strong work culture is the invisible force that binds employees to each other, to the company, and to their work. It's linked to better business outcomes, happier employees, and increased retention. How we work and where we work continue to evolve in almost every way, yet our human need for connection and purpose remains. Help your employees connect and thrive by evolving your culture to support your team, regardless of how or where they work. So discover how the Kindling Culture Agency can transform your company's culture at sparksomething.big.com. That's the Kindling Culture Agency at sparksomething.big.com. Compunetics is the leading developer of unified voice, video, and data collaboration and conferencing applications for the service provider, government, and unique workflow applications. The Summit Olympus and Evergreen platforms, driven by their encrypted user interfaces, enable powerful and secure collaboration. Combined with world-class support and innovative professional services, Compunetics delivers the right solution every time. Learn more at compunetics.com. This is TechVibe Radio, your front row seat to Pittsburgh's technology and innovation economy. TechVibe is brought to you by Compunetics at compunetics.com, Chorus Call at choruscall.com, Highmark at highmark.com, Huntington Bank at huntington.com, Kindling at thekindlingagency.com, PNC Bank at pnc.com, and Savior at savior.com. TechVibe proudly broadcasts from the Huntington Bank studios. We're back, Audrey. So much fun. Sunday morning, TechVibe Radio. I'm Jonathan Kirsting.
And I'm Audrey Russo.
Audrey, let's jump into the parallels between Croatia and Pittsburgh's tech ecosystem. You've been going there for at least almost 10 years now on a regular basis. You're there to provide your insights, your expertise, but you come back learning from them, which I think is so much fun. And you brought back this piece that if you go to pghtech.org, it's your latest president's note, where you really dive into the similarities that we have, not just by the fact that historically we're tied at the hip with so many Croatians living in Pittsburgh that came here 100, 130 years ago to help build our region.
The world.
Right. For crying out loud. So what are the things that really just were sticking up around this for you that were just
there's a couple of things that are so interesting. Because if you look at the European Union, right, and they are so bound by regulations and documentation and stamps on documents and old-fashioned stuff.
Red tape.
You could call it red tape.
Okay.
But you could also call it sort of old world bureaucracy that's just penetrated their world. It's part of their fabric, and it affects how they see the world, and it affects how they're motivated to do things in the world. So think about it. If you and I are starting a company, and we're in Croatia, the actual amount of process that we need for documentation is enormous. It is enormous. And
is it like onerous to the point where it keeps somebody from doing it?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And so that was one of the things that I came there to talk about different ways that you can, look at that process. And maybe there are other ways to sort of leverage new kinds of strategies to start businesses. But I'm not going to be able to take over the EU and all the compliance issues there. But there are some compliance issues there that we should learn from, and we're not going to talk about that today, but it's around artificial intelligence and data integrity and data privacy. So, Europe has been, meticulously focused on that for a very long time.
Well, I mean, they led the way in security and things like that with websites, and so it makes sense that they would do that with cyber as well, too, right?
I mean, they've been doing that even when I worked at Alcoa and we were in Europe. I mean, it's it's taken very seriously. Your personal data is taken very seriously. It's not like us here. Oh, you want our credit card right now, and you want to do it right through ChatGPT? Sure, here you go.
Do you want to accept all these cookies?
You want to
Absolutely.
accept it? Yeah, you want to just accept everything? Sure. No, very, very different, and the controls are there. And I think there's a balance. I think there's a way to strike a balance, but it serves as an impediment for them to proceed, because most people will be saying, wait a second, why would I want to start a company?
Yeah.
I have to go through all this and put myself and my family at risk when I can live okay and work for someone or work for the government or work, right?
Totally.
Work in a university or work in that. And so the similarities, though, what's so interesting is because they still are complaining about there's not enough capital.
Well, let's talk about that.
They talk about there's not enough capital.
Is that like a rule of the universe or something
like that?
I know,
and there's not enough capital,
yeah.
and, because people are risk averse, and where does the capital come from? And there are a couple of really cool young people who are pulling together venture funds and doing well.
I love hearing
and
that.
I love
so
meeting
cool.
them, and I love seeing them over, like this 8-year period of time, and see how they, against all odds, they are investing, and they're making sure that their investment is, that they have tentacles in Croatia, no matter where it may be.
Love it.
And,
yeah.
And they're trying to build that against all odds, and it's a small crowd. And so this notion of Silicon Valley to them is really far away. They're just saying, ooh, that's like beyond
anything,
their comprehension, but the kinds of problems they're trying to solve are similar to Pittsburgh. They see themselves as people who are trying to solve hard problems, hard science problems, very interested in automation and robotics. And there's a great company that I met with called ORQA.
What do they do?
And they're doing drones work, and they actually have a contract with the U.S. government.
Really?
And they're
Nice. That's
really
what I'm talking
great.
about.
And,
I love it.
So really great guys who at one point, I think I met them years ago, and they were dabbling in this simple drone world, and they just totally morphed.
And now they have a contract with the U.S. government.
I don't know, 170 people working for them now.
Wow. Okay, that's legit.
People have moved to where they are from
to work there.
To work there.
Okay.
So we have the same kind of simpatico.
Yes.
In terms of
simpatico, I like that.
They moved here, and the Orca company actually is not even located in a big city. It's located sort of far from the coast. I think it's the furthest point from the coast.
Okay.
Across this alley of Croatia. And he was so proud. The founder's like, yeah, I got people moving from Switzerland and from Italy, and they're here. And meanwhile, Croatia is a country of 4.5 million people.
Yeah, so their population is very similar to what Allegheny County is, right? Which is kind of like, what?
Their whole population, right? And then if you think that probably 70% of their GDP is through tourism. They know that they need to diversify intellectually.
Yeah. I love hearing that because the tourism seems like an easy thing to just make the money on, but it cannot necessarily be consistent.
There. So there is
it's like two different worlds.
You can't compare Pittsburgh tourism and the coast of the Adriatic Sea.
You mean the coast of the Adriatic Sea is not like going down to the Mon River and hanging out next to the good chip
lollipop? Not at all, but it has been highly, commercialized.
Very
not
much
everywhere, but almost everywhere. So. They struggle with that. And they also struggle with, the interesting thing to me is, they struggle with, what does it mean to have money?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what does it mean to have money? Do you need to, if the path to being rich, there must be some trouble or something that you've gotten into.
Okay, yeah. Well, I guess that's very cultural, and through all the crazy stuff with communism back in the day and money bad and
And remember, every Croatian has been through 2 wars.
Right.
So if you've lived till you're 50 or 60, the chances are you've lived through 2 wars.
You've been through something very traumatic that's going to impact how you view making a living and how
what matters to
risk taking
exactly.
and so forth.
And so I wonder if we have some of that in our DNA.
Do you think? I mean, we talk about it all the time that we're very much like we want to work for the industry and if you fail, it's bad and these types of things. So I think there's a lot of simpatico when it comes to that as well too.
Right.
100%.
But if you think about it, in the 50s in the United States, there were more entrepreneurs and small businesses than there are now.
Really? Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's some interesting data on that. So we've become a country that has big corporations.
Yeah, I guess it's got industrialized and that
big,
success
right.
happened. It brought people in and
Right,
we
and
all
so
worked for the man and all that kind of good stuff,
so
right?
we atrophied a little bit.
Yeah.
So we atrophied. But so the parallels to Pittsburgh, getting back to your point,
Yeah.
the parallels to Pittsburgh to me are just striking. And they're striking, and I don't, know if it's because of our Eastern European roots that have been here for so long. I mean, 130 years, you would think that some of that is dissipated. But when you have close family ties,
Yeah.
and you have close relationships with your families, and you identify with your background and your culture,
Yes.
I'm sure that some of that penetrates.
It 100% penetrates. And that's I just want to encourage everybody, you're out there, when you're done with the show, just jump on your phone, jump on your computer, go to pghtech.org. I got the article up there. It's on our homepage, and I don't know. I just love the correlations that are coming through this. I feel like by reading it, I start thinking about ways that Pittsburgh can improve and actually embrace some of the things that maybe we don't want to embrace because we think it's old school. And so it got my brain thinking. I think it get anyone's brain thinking because it's a good read. And I'm glad we got to share a little bit of it here today. I just thought it was a great platform. No, I think I knew our listeners are going to enjoy it. I enjoyed it. So we'll leave it at that, Audrey. Guess what? We're back on the air next week. We got a lot more Tech Vibe coming. And to remind everybody, wherever you get your podcast, you can find Tech Vibe. We've been doing this, like I said, for almost 20 years, and we have so many awesome interviews. It's just a
many stories.
Great little snapshot of what's actually happening here in Pittsburgh. So great stuff, Audrey. I'll see you next week.
Stay tuned.
All right, everybody, pghtech.org. Jonathan Kirsting.
Audrey Russo.
Thanks for geeking out with us on TechVibe Radio. Tune in next Sunday for more tech and innovation stories right here from Pittsburgh. Get TechVibe wherever you get your podcasts and never miss a show. TechVibe is brought to you by the generous support of Compunetics at Compunetics.com, Chorus Call at ChorusCall.com, Highmark at Highmark.com, Huntington Bank at Huntington.com, The Kindling Culture Agency at TheKindlingAgency.com, PNC Bank at PNC.com, Savior at Savior.com, and Studio Me at StudioMeProductions.com. TechVibe proudly broadcasts from the Huntington Bank Studios.